So Eddie, we're here at the Dorchester. A surprise for some boxing fans. I don't think they'd ever imagine Amir and you sitting on the same stage as promoter and boxer. How did this all come about? Where did the move start?
Been talking now for a couple of months, and we looked at doing something at the end of last year, but he ended up going on I'm a Celebrity, and at the time it was like, this is either going to be an absolute disaster or the best thing you've ever done, and it was the latter, because I think people got to see the real Amir Khan, and he's made some PR disasters in the past, haven't we all? But everybody you speak to about Amir Khan tells you what a good guy he is, and when you're with him, you think the same. And I think what the show did was actually unveil him and roll him out raw, if you like, and expose him for his entire character, his personality. He came out of there in a good place, both mentally and from a profile perspective. And really the time was to act. And I've long thought that this was the place for Amir Khan to be. But with the history, you just sort of think it will never happen. And I guess over time, people mature, myself and him, and realise that great business makes great sense. And this was a big coup for us. Every promoter in boxing wanted to sign Amir Khan. He talked to everybody, and he chose us. And I think it's the perfect move for Amir.
Obviously, you talk about the competition and people wanting him. There was people saying ITV were trying to get him at every source. I mean, how difficult was it to win this race to sign Amir?
Well, it was difficult because of the history. I believe we have the number one platform in boxing with Sky. I believe we're the number one promoters in the world. But if you don't like me or you don't like us, maybe you don't want to work with us. That doesn't bother me as much. I don't have to be your best friend to do a great job for you. But if I like you, generally you put in those extra hours to try and get things done. And I do like Amir. Every time we've got together, we've got on very well. And then something will be said in the media and I'll say something back, and then Kell says something. And then, like I said, it all blows out of proportion. But again, I think it was just a realisation that, and you see that now by the comments, wow, how's this happened? And then it's like, actually, this is a great move for everybody, and I think it is a real smart move by Amir Khan. He's coming back at a time where British boxing is at a level where it never was when he was boxing before. His last fight in the UK was 5 years ago, where the profile of British boxing was nowhere near where it is now. So he has a chance to jump back in. We know he's one of the biggest stars in world boxing. Coming off the back of I'm a Celebrity, great profile, but it's not about I'm a Celebrity, it's about becoming champion again. And when I spoke to Amir, the thing that impressed me most was his desire to fight again. And every time I talked about boxing, every time I talked about the shows, his eyes just lit up a little bit, and that excited me. And I know that he has that desire to become champion again, and I will provide him with those opportunities. Can he do it? Well, we'll start with the first phase on April the 21st at the Echo Arena in Liverpool.
And when the move first happened, was it you picking up the phone to Amir? Did Amir ring you, or was it a meeting of the two minds?
We've had a number of meetings over the past probably year or so. I've often said to him, in the past, you should come and sign with us. And this might have been said a year, 2 years ago. It's sort of like, what are you up to? And then it came to a stage where he started talking to other promoters. And naturally, if you're going to talk to promoters, you're going to talk to us. He talked to everybody, BT, ITV, all the American promoters, and like I said, I'm very honoured that he's chosen us, and I believe we're going to do a great job for him.
And these three fights, everyone's talking about opponents. We've seen Amir and Adrien Broner with a few tweets, social media. Kell is the one that everyone's dreaming of. Are those possible fights?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they won't be on April the 21st. He's going to come back with a real credible, solid test. But the Kell fight is obviously one that everybody wants to see. I spoke to Kell last night, told him I've always kept him up to speed with what we're doing. I think he's excited that some of the barriers now are down to making that fight. Still a long way to go, but all those big names, Broner, Pacquiao, Errol, Spence, Thurman, Garcia, Brook, they're all easily makeable fights, and I believe we're going to make them for Amir Khan.
Was there any concern with Amir, the fact he'd been out of the ring for so long with you signing him, or do you see in him a different Amir to the one who went in the jungle? Because mentally and physically,
he's in a good place.
He seems very different.
He's in a good place, and I think the jungle. I spoke to him about the jungle, and he sort of says it's the best thing he's ever done. It's almost like a cleansing experience that he got paid for. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's put him in a great place. I think he's excited to fight again. He's excited for his boxing, and I think that it's a not a worry, but it's always a difficulty overcoming inactivity. And it's 2 years nearly since he would have last fought, so it's going to be difficult for him, but it's going to be entertaining. One thing you know about Amir Khan is he's extremely entertaining as a fighter. And I think April 21st will be no exception.
And Amir said he wants to be world champion by the end of the year. I'm guessing you believe that's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the aim. And when fighters have aspirations to become champions again, that's encouraging. You know, he's in the sport to achieve. He's in the sport to win big fights and win belts, and it's our job to provide that for him.